Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 2 of our explorations through beautiful Switzerland. If you haven't watched episode 1, I highly recommend you do so. I'll leave a link below. I go into a lot of details about visiting Switzerland in general that I'm not going to repeat myself here in episode 2. We will begin episode 2 in the northwest corner of Switzerland in Basel. The city of Basel is along the banks of the Rhine River. A Roman fortification was first mentioned here in the year 374 AD. Construction on a church began here in 1019. That building was destroyed by an earthquake in 1356. A rebuild of the structure was completed in July 1500. That is the building you see here today. One of the main landmarks and tourist attractions of Basel, it adds definition to the city landscape with its red sandstone architecture and colored roof tiles. The building is listed on the Swiss Inventory of Cultural Property of National and Regional Significance. Next stop is the Basel City Hall. This very interesting building on the market square was built in various stages between the 16th and 19th century and is still the seat of the government of the city of Basel. There are tours available of the interior of the building, although the courtyard is available to all. The frescoes in Basel's town hall were painted in the 17th century by Hans Bach the Elder, depicting historical and allegorical scenes. The paintings were renovated and restored in 1901. I thought this face on this fountain in the interior of the City Hall was interesting. The statue here on the staircase is from 1580. The wing on the far left and the tower were the last two pieces added to the building in 1900. No visit to Basel is complete without a quick stop here at the City Hall. While this mural may not have the cultural or architectural importance of, say, the cathedral or City Hall, we did find it quite interesting. How many of the artists on this wall can you name? One thing I had planned to do on our trip to Basel was take a ferry ride across the Rhine. A for some reason when we arrived here in the dock area, I'm not sure why now, we did not actually go on a ferry ride across the Rhine. Oh well, maybe we can do that on our next trip to Switzerland. One thing we did accomplish in Basel that in hindsight I'm not sure was really worth it, we went through a lot of walking and a lot of bus transfers to get to this spot right here. I will not even attempt to pronounce this word. Let's just call it the Border Triangle Basel. That's what Google calls it. So here you are. This side of the river is France, as you can see here. Now this side of the river is Germany, and you are standing here in Switzerland. I apologize for the bad camera work. Like I said, looking back, I'm not sure it was worth the time. However, if you do take a river cruise that stops in Basel, I believe all the river boats dock just a few meters from here. And if you're planning a trip to Basel, we could recommend where we stayed, the GAIA Hotel Basel. The hotel was fairly affordable by Switzerland standards, and it did include a very nice breakfast. But the main asset of the GAIA Hotel in Basel is that it's right across the street from the central train station. And that's very convenient when you want to use your rather expensive Swiss rail pass you purchased for your trip. Now it's time for us to put our rather expensive Swiss rail passes to use and explore more of Switzerland. Next, we'll make a quick stop in Rheinfelden. Rheinfelden is a rather small town of only about 13 or 14,000 people. The old downtown is very nice and worth an exploration. We were there very early in the morning, so there wasn't much going on. And much like its neighbor Basel, Rheinfeld's town hall is nearly 500 years old. The main artwork in the courtyard depicts the Battle of Zimpach from 1386. In the battle, the Swiss Confederation defeated the Austrians. Here, the Rhine River is the border between Switzerland and Germany. Rheinfelden, Switzerland and Rheinfelden, Germany are connected by this stone bridge constructed in 1912. We decided to do a quick hop across the border just to say we've been to Germany on this trip. Also in the downtown area is St. Martin's Church. Parts of this structure are around 1,000 years old, but the building as you see it now was rebuilt in 1464. Just outside of town is the impressive Feldschlösschen Brewery, founded in 1876. And I hope that pronunciation was somewhat close. Tours of the brewery are of course available, however we did not have time the day of our visit. Unlike its neighbor Basel, Rheinfelden still has much of its medieval wall still surrounding the old town. This section of the wall is currently guarded by some goats. Construction on the wall began in the late 12th century. It measures 730 meters long. Two towers on the wall constructed in the 13th century still stand. 28-meter high Stort Tower still bears bullet marks from a Swedish attack during the 30 Years' War. Zurich is located in north-central Switzerland and at the northwestern tip of Lake Zurich. The modern city of Zurich was founded by who else but the Romans over 2,000 years ago. The Limmat River flows out of Lake Zurich through the city in a northwesterly direction. As I mentioned in episode 1, Switzerland is generally regarded as one of the most expensive countries in Europe to visit. Zurich is consistently cited as one of the priciest places in Switzerland, with exceptionally high costs for everything from hotels to transport. We did not stay in Zurich during our visit, we stayed in Basel. Train ride between the two cities is only about an hour. The train station in Zurich is the largest in Switzerland and the busiest. The Twin Towers of Grossmünster are regarded as perhaps the most recognized landmark in Zurich. Original construction on the church began in 1100 and finished in 1220. The two towers were not added until 1487 and 1492. The Münsterbrücke crosses the Limmat at this historical core of the medieval town of Zurich. Frau Münster, or Church of Our Lady, is one of the most famous churches in Zurich, first built by the German King Louis in 853 AD. Most of the current site dates from the mid-13th century. Tours of the interior of the church are available, but only by appointment with authorized guides. During our visit, I noticed this monument, but I had no idea who Hans Waldmann was. Hans Waldmann was a former mayor of Zurich. He led a very interesting life. I won't go into all the details here in this video, but I will leave a link to his Wikipedia page below. Here we have the St. Peter Church of Zurich. A church has stood at this location since around the year 1000. During Roman times, a temple to Jupiter was located at this site. From 1340 to 1911, the steeple was used as a fire watch. Steeple's clock face has a diameter of 8.7 meters, making it the largest church clock face in Europe. Here we have the fourth major church of old medieval Zurich, the Predigerkirche, built in 1231. The distinctive tower was not added until 1879 to 1900. During our visit, we just happened to walk by the Predigerkirche at a time when the bells were ringing. While you're in the Zurich area, you might consider about a 45-minute train ride north to the Rhine Falls. At this point, the Rhine River is once again the border between Switzerland and Germany. During your visit to the falls, you can also tour Lauterbrunnen Castle, which overlooks the falls. Of course, the first step in getting to Switzerland is probably finding a great deal on a flight. Our associate sponsor Daily Drop Pro can help you with that. Once you sign up, Daily Drop Pro will send you deals on flights departing from airports you select. The deals will include international economy, international business, as well as domestic flights. At the time of making this video, here is a deal that's available on the website: a round-trip flight from Oklahoma City to Geneva for $500. The site and app are also searchable, so say you need a great deal on a flight from Houston to Zurich, Daily Drop Pro can find that for you. So click the link below for more information, and just full disclosure here, if you do sign up using our link, we do get a small commission to help support the channel. Thanks for listening, but now we'll get back to Switzerland. As we return to Switzerland, our next stop is the city of Lucerne. The Chapel Bridge is Lucerne's landmark and is considered to be the oldest covered bridge in Europe. Originally constructed in the year 1360, it was part of the city's fortifications. The water tower that's part of the bridge is over 34 meters high and was used as an archive, a treasury, a prison, and a torture chamber over the years. One unique feature of the bridge were 158 triangle-shaped paintings hanging in the rafters. Paintings ran along the bridge dating from the life and death of Lucerne's patron saints. The bridge and the paintings were heavily damaged in a fire in 1993. Some of the paintings have been left unrestored. Be forewarned though, the Chapel Bridge is one of the most popular tourist attractions in Switzerland, so expect crowds. Also in Lucerne is the Lion Monument, carved in 1820 to 1821. The monument commemorates the Swiss guards who were killed in 1792 during the French Revolution when revolutionaries stormed the palace at Tuileries. Around 760 of the Swiss guards defending the Tuileries were killed during the fighting or massacred after their surrender. The Museg Wall was completed around 1408 following the Battle of Sempach and is considered one of the longest, best preserved defensive walls in Switzerland. The wall is 800 meters long and has 9 towers still standing. The wall is open for tours from the beginning of April through the end of October. But now it is time to leave these man-made wonders in Lucerne for some natural beauty elsewhere in Switzerland. The village of Iseltwald is first mentioned in history in 1146. In that year, King Conrad III of Germany gave the Interlaken monastery control of 1/4 of the village. Stopping in this little village of 400 people was not on our itinerary. We had rented a car and were driving by on our way to our next stop when we saw it and simply could not pass it by. As it turns out, the entire village of Iseltwald is designated as part of the inventory of Swiss heritage sites. And after experiencing the town of Iseltwald in person, I have no doubt it deserves to be on that list. I can't imagine what it's like for those 400 people that get to live in this little postcard of a town. I've already been told by Paula if we get a chance to come back here, the Strand Hotel will be on our list. Iseltwald Castle, also known as Schloss Seeberg, isn't a traditional medieval castle, but a striking villa built in 1907 here on the shores of Lake Brienz. But quite honestly, Iseltwald was merely the opening act for our final stop on this tour, Lauterbrunnen. And now the grand finale of our Swiss adventure, Lauterbrunnen. Nestled at the base of a breathtaking U-shaped valley where sheer cliffs rise like ancient guardians and the air echoes with the roar of 72 waterfalls. Here in this hidden paradise, barely a kilometer wide, nature packs everything that makes Switzerland unforgettable. Thundering cascades like Staubach plunging nearly 300 meters, glacier-carved wonders tucked inside mountains, and a peaceful village cradled in the meadows of wildflowers. It's hard to imagine calling this place home, a corner of the world where God's handiwork feels tangible every day. Switzerland has gifted us historic cities along glittering rivers, timeless bridges and monuments, pristine lakes, and now this alpine masterpiece. It's places like Lauterbrunnen that linger longest in the heart, a true piece of heaven on earth. Unfortunately, we did not have time on this trip to view these last two waterfalls, but that just gives us an excuse to return later. Thank you for joining our journey through this magical country. If you haven't seen episode 1, check the link out below for even more tips and wonders. Until the mountains call again, safe travels, and may beauty find you on every path.